Hello, my name is Biniam. I'll be instructing you introduction to logic. We will discuss the basics of logic. We'll discuss definition of logic, the benefits of logic, and the basic concepts of logic, different fallacies, different types of arguments. Just follow me through, and there will be some exercises also to check our progress. We will start with basic concepts of logic. The basic concepts of logic are the concepts that logic emphasizes on, and understanding of logic depends on. But before going to the concepts of logic, let us define what logic is. Logic is one of the branches of philosophy which studies argument, and arguments are the basics of reasoning. Thus, logic is a study of reasoning. It studies how reason is constructed, how reason makes sense. It studies what makes certain content, speech or writing content, reasonable or not. In general, logic studies the basic elements of an argument. Thus, we shall define argument also. Argument, in the elementary sense, is any passage in which a certain claim is supported by evidence or some alleged evidence. If someone says something is so and so because of this and that, then he is making an argument. He is being reasonable. For example, if I say I am a teacher because I am employed at the University of Debre Marcos to teach logic, even though this is a circular argument, which we will see in the next chapters, but it is still an argument. I am trying to justify that I am a teacher based on the evidence that I am employed by the University of Debre Marcos as a teacher. So, to cover some of the basic concepts of logic, let us see some of the basic concepts of logic. The main one is argument, and premise and conclusion comes later. Premise and conclusion are the basic ingredients, the basic parts of logic. Premises are statements which provide evidence. In the previous example, the statement that tells that I am employed by Debre Marcos University is a premise. Whereas I am a teacher is a conclusion. So what is being justified is a conclusion. What justifies is the premise. Other concepts that we are going to see are deduction and induction. Even though it is not the time to discuss these concepts in detail, let me briefly highlight what they mean. Deduction is a process of argument or a process of reasoning in which a conclusion depends on a necessity claim. That is, the premise or the evidence provide a basis for the conclusion to be necessarily true. If the premise is true, then it is possible, it is necessary that the conclusion is also true. Whereas induction is a process of argumentation or reasoning in which the premise could be true or is probably true if the premise is true. So the fact that the premise is true doesn't guarantee the truth of the conclusion. It may be or it may not be. So in case of deduction, there is a claim of certainty or necessity, whereas in the case of induction, there is a claim of likelihood or probability. There are other concepts like validity, truth, soundness, strength, and cogency. These are related with deduction and induction. Validity is related with deduction. Soundness is also related with deduction. Strengths and cogency are related with induction. I think it's better to discuss these concepts later on to avoid confusion. So these are the main concepts that we are going to cover in this lesson. So from the previous discussion, we have defined logic as study of argument or reasoning, or it's a study of process in which some claim is justified by an evidence or alleged evidence. We have said it is a branch of philosophy, so we may add a footnote about the meaning or definition of philosophy. Philosophy is a discipline, a comprehensive discipline, which tries to give answer to fundamental human questions or problems like the issue of existence, knowledge, value, and meaning. So when someone asks, what is this existence about, or what is it made of? He is asking a philosophical question. Or if someone says, how can we know something for sure? This is also a philosophical question. Or if someone says, what is the value of being a good person or speaking the truth? He is asking a philosophical question. Or how do we know what the meaning of something is, or what the meaning of certain concept is, or what that concept implies? This is also a philosophical question. There are also other questions related with politics, arts, science, that philosophy deals with. And one of the issues philosophy also tries to deal is what the role of reasoning, or what the role of reason is in the process of knowing anything, if we can know anything at all. To study reason and the nature of reason more deeply, a branch that is logic is dedicated, whereas other branches of philosophy like metaphysics, which deals with existence, epistemology, which deals with knowledge, ethics, which deals with moral values, aesthetics, which deals with the values of beauty and art, political philosophy, the value of political reality, political activities, philosophy of science, and others are also dedicated for different issues that are a concern to humans for aeons. And we have defined argument as a passage or a content in which something is justified or defended by providing some evidence or some claimed evidence. If someone says all human beings are mortal, Kabbada is human, therefore Kabbada is mortal, so he's making an argument because he's trying to justify that Kabbada is mortal on the evidence that all humans are mortal and Kabbada is also human. We have discussed deduction and induction, in which the former is concerned with certainty of claim of arguments and the latter the probability of claim of arguments. And we have also slightly covered that deduction is evaluated based on its validity and soundness, whereas induction is evaluated based on its strength and cogency. And the atomic foundation of all of this discussion of argument is statement. Statement is a sentence that can be said true or false. All human beings are mortal. This is a statement. Kabbada is mortal. This is a statement. Kabbada is human. This is a statement, because we can say true or false. So an argument is composed of these kinds of sentences, or these are also called propositions in general, even though there is slight difference between statement and proposition. In the next content, or in the next lesson, we will discuss deeply with what an argument is, with examples, and we will discuss how to differentiate argument with an argumentative passage.